I don't understand. I didn't really want to do a video on this, but I'll do it, hey. So, I did not really understand why the person I just was talking to was freaking out, thinking that I didn't believe in certain thing when it comes to colorism and stuff. There's a topic on colorism and brown skin girls. I like to hear the perspective of a brown skinned person when it comes to colorism because I think I can relate to them, generally. I generally think, for me personally, when it comes to colorism, I relate generally to light-skinned people. And when I say light-skinned people, I mean yellow bones. I definitely relate to red bones, and I relate to caramel, because I am caramel. I consider myself lighter skinned than a red bone, basically. And I know people get confused. They think red bones are darker than caramels. Personally, every time I've ever heard about red bone, it's always been, and I'm going to leave the definition below so everyone can understand, and I'm going to leave another definition below, because I think many of the time people think red bone means something like some people like to think red bones mean like really light skin. Like it's basically another term for white passing or what they call high yellow, but I don't like to use high yellow because there is nothing high about any of our complexions. We are all beautiful, whether we're dark onyx or if we're pale and freckled, okay? We're all beautiful in our own way. But I just wanted to basically do a video basically touching upon this slightly because I mean, like, some people seemed like they were bothered, I guess, by my perception of everything when it comes to colorism and designation of complexions, especially. People always get a little freaked out by my designation of what I consider light skin, what I consider brown skin, what I consider dark skin. For me, personally, I do believe brown-skinned people exist. Honestly, I've said in the past, I identified as medium myself until I realized what medium was, and then that's when I walked away. It wasn't like that I was like, oh, medium's bad. No, to me I was like, oh, caramel is perfect, is the best thing, the best of, and I didn't really care if that was light, medium, or dark. I just liked what it was. But when I realized that brandy was considered medium, then I got to shake it off and walk the other way. That's how I see it. It's like, how can I see myself in the same light as brandy? Brandy makes me look pale. If I stood next to brandy, I would look pale, she would look dark. We would have that complex. It is not like we could be of the same complexion. If she's dark, I'm medium. If she's medium, I'm light-skinned. That's how it is. It's just a fact. You can't have both things in the same category. Rihanna cannot be in the same category as Brandy. Nicki Minaj cannot be in the same category as Brandy, for example. And, people who are darker than that, I'd say, like, even like some people were complaining because I said that, this one lady was complaining because I said that Whitney Houston was, I said she was light-skinned, but I said she was red-boned. To me, I see her as brown-skinned. I've said in other videos that Megan Thee Stallion was a brown skin. And I've said in other videos that Whitney Houston was brown skinned. To me, when I'm saying they're brown skin, I'm referencing their tan complexion, which is the complexion most people see them in right now. Now, later on, Whitney Houston is that, but I mean, Megan Thee Stallion, I'm pretty sure she's gonna get lighter like they all do. They tend to stay out of the sun after a while, and then people start to think they bleach. This is the norm. Red bones, they usually are accused of being bleachers, basically. You got Rihanna, you got Beyonce, you got Nicki Minaj. Basically, anybody who is caramel or a reddish brown, and then they decide to stay out of the sun, they will then be accused of bleaching. The thing is, we tan crazy and we get light like crazy as well. It is what it is. Like I said, to me, I have always thought with colorism itself, the experience with colorism is like, in my experience, not like a yellow bone, and it's not like a brown skin. Like a brown skin person, when I say a brown skin person, I mean like an Angela Bassett. Angela Bassett's, they generally seem like they have a lot of contempt and anger. Like, a great example is Paris Milan. They have a lot of contempt and anger for people who are light skinned. They have this contempt and anger because they were treated like, they weren't treated like dark skinned people, like they were attacked for being too dark. What they were attacked in, this is the way they're attacked in. I guess you could say we get some of it, but we don't really get it like that. They get it like, you're a black woman where you're almost light skinned. Look at how close you are. Oh, you missed the mark. Oh, you failed. You failed that paper bag test. And they go at them really bad. They do. And I'm saying dark-skinned black men. Of course, dark-skinned black men, as I've said plenty of times, are the culprits of colorism. They constantly are. That's nothing new, So to me, that's what my experience was with brown-skinned women, was that their colorist problems and colorism was always a contempt issue because they were so close, but they didn't make it. If anyone watched the video with Paris Milan and her big rant, like it was a big rant on mixed race people video that she had up, that she eventually took down, like a long time later, but she had this long rant with like white makeup on her face, being mad that she wasn't, like she prayed or something like that about not, like wishing she was light skinned or whatever. There's another YouTuber that's like that, Queen Chioma. They're both considered brown skinned women, but they live in contempt with all people that are lighter skinned than them. Now, in my experience as someone who is lighter than these women, I've never had that experience. For me personally, the benefit that they say exists, which I don't even think exists. I don't think that there's a benefit to being lighter skinned. I never have. I've always thought there's a benefit to being white, but there's no benefit to being light skinned. I've never had that. I've had it where white passing, mixed girls, light skinned, like yellow bone, red bones. Red bones and red bones, sometimes at my job, some red bones get so mad seeing me, they just up and like, let's go out in the back and let's fight, and we haven't even met. I don't even really know your name or how to pronounce it, yet you want to fight and it's like really bad. So for me, in my experience, it's never been where like I felt like I was treated less than. I've always had it where I felt like with light-skinned women, I was treated like I was a freaking threat, and like, oh, we gotta box you, or like, white passing light-skinned girls, it was always like, I've had like 2 or 3 incidents where they would like, they're not ready to box quite. I guess maybe they have more, because the lighter they are, the better they feel maybe, but they still feel upset because if you're getting more attention than them, it's more problematic, basically, for them, no matter what color they are. And the thing is, I don't even like black men, but they do. So they get really mad that that I'm not liking these men. I'm rejecting these men. And they are giving me attention and not them firstly. They go to me first, and then I send them on their way to you. And then it makes them feel in a certain inferior sense of way, And then also there's demeanor stuff and ways people were raised in a way that was maybe a little less than that makes people feel insecure too, but that's a whole different story about how your race and culture and stuff. But the point is of this conversation, I'm going to wrap it up because my battery's low, is that I never felt as someone who is a red bone or caramel or whatever, that I was treated like I was less than anyone light skinned that was lighter than me, or someone my color. Now, was I treated better than someone who was brown skinned? Sometimes, maybe. Honestly, sometimes I was treated better than some lighter skinned women. Because sometimes, like with your facial features, it's more of a thing. If someone thinks you're not black, you think you're mixed, they think you're something altogether differently, they're going to treat you better than any light skinned girl that has West African features. So that's my experience as far as colorism. I just think if you're lighter than a paper bag, it really doesn't define any of that because there are other races that are the same color as you. It's more definition of your facial features and your hair texture too, because my hair texture is curly. It's pretty, like, I look at black people's hair and I realize my hair is softer. As I'm a 4A, I guess some parts of my hair is kind of 3C-ish. But yeah, my hair is a little softer. But my facial features, many of the time people don't, like black men will think I'm not like a black or black and white mix. They'll think I'm something totally different. The more different you are, the more of an edge you have in the black community, which is so backwards and sad, but it's all because black men hate themselves. So that's part one. I'll do another video. Give me a sec.